Hi, my name is Beth, and I am a programming assistant for the St. Johns County Public Library System, and I'm so grateful to have you here with me in the bubble. I'm here today to meet Kasha Fahy. She's going to teach us all how to create a lighthouse using oil pastels. We're so grateful to the Barbara K Foundation for giving the St. Johns County Public Library System a grant that is allowing us to teach these oil pastel classes. This is the last in a series of 4 classes that Kasha has taught online. You can still watch the other 3 at any time on the St. Johns County Public Library System's Facebook page or YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and meet Kasha.
Hi everyone, my name is Kasha Fahy. I'm very excited to be doing this Lighthouse Oil Pastel with you today. I'm a Flagler grad with a fine art and graphic design background. Thank you so much for wanting to attend these classes. I'm really looking forward to when we can see each other in person, and I hope you enjoy this.
Okay, so to get started on our Lighthouse Oil Pastels, you're going to need a black piece of paper and a set of oil pastels. That's all you need. The black paper that we're using is kind of a thicker paper from an art store, but you can use any quality of black paper that you'd like. And we have a variety of colors here. Just any oil pastels kit will work.
Hi everyone. So this is our template that we'll be using for our Lighthouse oil pastel. These will be able to be downloaded on the library website. I have these templates that are 2 separate pieces, but here, this is how they will appear to be when on the site. These need to be cut out into 2 separate areas when laid out. And here, where you have the divide, there's a small amount of piece of tape will help connect that to becoming the 2 pieces.
Perfect. So you can download these from the events page and also on the library's
2
Facebook page and YouTube channel. So great. Thank you so much, Kasha.
What we're going to do is place our template, which is broken into 2 parts, onto our piece, and we're having this be horizontal laid out, and the template should fit right along with the bottom part of our paper. So we're basically breaking it into 2 halves where we have our sea and then our lighthouse and our land. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use white to trace around. Now you can use a different color, but I'm using white just to be more visible. And I'm starting with my lighthouse, so I'm going to go down the side of my lighthouse. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Your piece does not have to look like mine. It's probably not going to look like anyone's. And that's perfectly okay, because art is about being original. And so I'm going around and I'm tracing the outside of my lighthouse first. I'm going down, and then I'm going to actually go all the way across. So from my 2 pieces. And then I'm going to go inside where I have my window cutouts. And some of these, they're a little thinner, so you just have to actually go around and just fill in, because this is actually where light is going to be shining through. So if you just want to fill in with the white automatically, that's totally okay. So you can see now where we have our lighthouse laid out. And then I'm going to go in with my piece for kind of my water or my land. And I'm going to trace around, breaking, and separating it. So now you have your base. So what we're going to do is actually use our yellow. And we're going to go from working on our background from the top to the bottom, and then work in the water and the grass. But what we're going to incorporate is filling in with where we had the white with yellow for our windows. And I just blow if I have stuff picking up. But then I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to kind of go over, and I'm going back and forth, and I'm creating a lot of jagged edges, because in skies, everything is not a solid color all the way across. And I'm going on the right side of my lighthouse. I'm starting at the top, and I'm bringing it all the way down. I'm cracking my yellow, and I'm kind of going back and forth, left to right. I'm going to fill in. I do not want the background of my paper to be showing through, but I'm still leaving some space because we'll incorporate other colors of the sky next. But I'm kind of bringing it down, and I call it, I'm not quite sure what part of the lighthouse this is, but I always say it's kind of like where you walk up and can take a break before you get to the top. I'm kind of bringing it all the way down and stopping at sort of the top half. And again, there's not a right or wrong way. Like if you bring yours all the way down, like that's not a problem. It's not a, just enjoy the process. And then I'm going to be going on the left side as well. And again, I'm kind of going back and forth. You can kind of have it branch out. And this one I'm going to have come up a little bit. I'm not going to have it end the same. Like if you go with your finger across, I'm just going to kind of have it end a little earlier. So the next step we're going to do is actually use our orange. And we're going to go start where our yellow ends. And kind of, again, I'm pressing down. I'm moving back and forth really quickly. It's okay if it goes into the yellow, but I'm filling in on the right side. Where the black paper is. So I'm going all the way to the edge of my paper. And I'm kind of coming down a little bit. But I'm still really leaving some room because we're actually going to fill a little bit of color. We're going to do our red and our brown next. So I'm doing that on the right side, and then I'm tilting my paper, but I'm also going to do this onto our left. So for this, I'm going to come out, and because we have a little bit more space to work with, I'm going to bring it all the way kind of across to the top, but I'm just bringing it down. And so I am going across, so you can kind of see it that it's jagged or at an angle. And like for this, like I'm using the tip and I'm going back and forth. So you're really creating like a nice like sky design. And again, I really don't want the paper to be showing through. I'm doing my best not to do that so it has a lot of vibrancy. Next part we're going to do is actually incorporating it with our red. So I'm going to start on the left side of my paper to do that. And I'm going to start where the orange is ending. And I'm really going to press down. And I'm going all the way to the edge. Now I'm going to leave a little bit because I want to be able to do the brown. But I'm going in and I'm going nice and quick. I think that's kind of what creates like the jagged edge, and it kind of creates the vibrancy and the excitement for the sky. You'll notice that what kind of movements, if they're slow, if they're quick, how that comes across, which is really nice with oil pastels. You can really sense movement on a page. Coming in. And then I'm going to do the same a little bit. I'm going to dip into my orange just a little bit. And come down. So like some of our different lesson plans, you can see how we're incorporating using layering colors on top of each other, different types of strokes. So you'll see that in all the different classes if you're downloading and reviewing all of them, which I just think is a really good base to showcase how there's different ways to utilize oil pastels, which is always really nice when creating lesson plans or thinking from that perspective. So the last part we're going to actually use is our brown. And I'm going to have that go all the way to the end, but we're going to stop where it kind of hits the water or our grass. And I'm having that go all the way, so I'm going to fill in. It's all right if it dips into our red. Again, I'm trying to make sure that I don't have any of my paper really trying to come through. I want this to be really vibrant and beautiful. And then again, I'm doing it again all the way down. So now we have a really nice base for our sky. So I'm gonna leave this alone for a little bit and actually work on filling in like our water and our grass, and then we can kind of start going in and doing details. But what we wanna do is actually utilize our light blue, and we're gonna fill in this where our white line with our brown goes all the way across. So we're just gonna fill that in with our light blue because we're kind of creating our water here. Again, you can do nice long strokes. You can go back and forth. So you can see if you're like kind of fast, really creates more movement. But if you go nice and slow, it kind of creates like a ripple effect. This I'm okay with some of the black paper showing through because I think we're gonna be doing a couple layers of colors. And I think that can kind of help create, based on how you go back and forth, a water effect on the paper. What we're then gonna do is go on our right side of our paper with our dark blue and create, again, that kind of ripple movement going back and forth. And we're really only doing it on the right side, so you're still getting a lot of the light blue coming in on the left side. But you can see how layering it on top kind of gives a different texture compared to what's on the left. We're gonna go over on the left-hand side with the white. Again, kind of doing that loose movement. And it's okay if we go all the way and kind of dip into our dark blue. So you can see here that we're creating movement that way. So now we have a really nice base for our water. Our light green, and fill in, I'm going to basically do a line all the way across. So we're separating where the lighthouse is with the grass, and then curving it around. So we're kind of, I like to sometimes outline where I'm gonna fill in, and then I'm gonna go left to right again. To feature our grass colors. The next step that we're gonna do is incorporate some up and down strokes with our dark green to create grass in our water. So what I want to do is actually kind of start, and I go up and down, and I'm okay if I'm dipping into the dark blue. I'm moving up and down, up and down, up and down. So I'm dipping into my light green, and I'm dipping into the water, and I'm going to do it all the way, and I'm okay if it dips into the top of the sky a little bit, but I'm bringing it all the way down. And then I'm just going to, right where my grass is hitting in my water, do the same kind of dark movements back and forth, back and forth. Now, if you want, you can incorporate a little bit of yellow, to same kind, to create some contrast here. So just showcasing how we're layering and creating movement all the way across. So now we have some of our grass laid out and our water. So you're seeing how things are developing that way. What I want to actually do next is take our white and go into and layer on top of our yellow to make areas of that brighter. So I'm going over the top, and I don't have to do all of it because I still want to have some of my yellow popping through, but I'm kind of going just around my lighthouse. on both sides, and I'm doing that quick movement of going back and forth. And I'm pressing down hard because I want to be able to showcase how the light is shining through. And I'm actually even going to go in and go back over that yellow. So you can really kind of see now how the yellow and how there's like a light emitting from the lighthouse. You can use pink to go into creating some more variance and shadowing and shading in your sky for your reds and your oranges and your browns. So I think I'm going to use pink because I know, but just in case, you can use white to create something, or you can use red and white on top of each other to create pink. So there's different color mixings, and you can find like a color wheel or anything located on, like if you Google it on a website. So I'm going to use my pink, and I'm going to go where my orange and my red is, pressing down hard, going back and forth, and then kind of going into my red, and I'm creating some really nice layering that way of adding color into the sky. And then I'm going to actually do the same thing with my yellow in between my red and my brown. I'm going to add some yellow and press down. And I'm doing it on the left and the right. Now, if you think that the yellow isn't doing it enough for you, you can actually use your flesh tone color. So I'm going to go back over that too. That'll create some really nice colors. So you're seeing we're creating some really nice like contrast in the sky for us. In addition to that, we are going to be incorporating our black. And you can choose to leave your lighthouse the black color of the paper, but you can see in some of our examples, we go back over it with a white. And I think doing that has a better effect if you incorporate your black pastel. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill in. So I kind of start at the base, and again, you can outline. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to outline and fill in all the way up. And again, I'm trying to press down pretty hard. And you can see the difference. It creates a richer, darker black. But I'm gonna be then going around, and I wanna make sure that I don't fill in my spaces. So I'm really just kind of gonna go in between with my pastel, like really lightly in between my windows, because I'm really not trying to fill those in. So I just go really quickly, and then I bring it up over the top. In addition to that, I really like showcasing some shadows. So I'm just gonna unwrap my black for a little bit, but I wanna feature how we're going to actually have like some grass coming up at the bottom. So I'm gonna be going back and forth, just the same kind of movement that we did for the grass in the water. Moving back and forth, and I'm gonna do that all the way across to kind of paint that shadow across the sky. But if we want to show a little bit of color as well, you can go back in with your dark green and press and go over your black, and you can start to see how those colors kind of show through. It's very light, but just enough. Also, if you would like to, or if you're like, this looks great, I always do just a little bit of black, and I kind of have it come down, kind of look like a start of like a ridge or a mountain on the left-hand side of the paper. Now, you do not have to do that if you do not want to. In addition to that, I would like to incorporate some birds. So you can see that you can have them be straight up or tilted and at an angle. So what we can do, like I think I'm gonna have mine get tilted. So what you do is you kind of take your hand with your black and you arch down into the direction that you want your birds to be coming at. And you can do it really small or really big to create direction. And I usually like to do 3. I think 2 or 3 is good based on where you are in terms of like composition for a page, but I'll let everyone, make kind of their own choices in that sense. And then what we do, the last kind of finishing touches here is incorporating some of this highlight values into our lighthouse. So I'm going to be taking my white and just kind of going back and forth really thick through the top. So you can see now that we have it, we're kind of creating this gray. And I'm doing this on the right side. I'm going in and bringing that all the way down on my lighthouse. Now, if you're like, I don't want it to be super, super light gray, I want it to have a little bit more white in it, if you press harder, you can create a layer of more white showing through. So now you have your completed abstract lighthouse, and you can sign your name at the bottom right-hand corner in white. And you can see how each of these look different than what I did before. Thank you so much for watching this class. I'm super excited that I had the opportunity to get to do this. So thank you again to the Barbara K Foundation and for the library for letting me do this. And I hope I get to see everyone in the new year for new classes.
Thank you so much, Kasha. And please remember that Kasha has also already filmed 3 classes for the St. Johns County Public Library System, and you can watch those other 3 classes at any time on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel. So she taught us how to make an oil pastels seahorse, an oil pastels butterfly, and an oil pastels
sunflower.
Sunflower, that's right. Okay, so thanks again, Kasha. We really appreciate it. And thank you again to the Barbara K Foundation for sponsoring these classes. Thanks again so much for watching. We can't wait to see your pictures of lighthouses created with oil pastels. Take a picture and tag us on social media at SJCPLS for Facebook, or hashtag I love SJCPLS if you are on Instagram. All right, thanks again so much. We'll see you soon at the library.